Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be walking all over creation, talking about what is going to happen with the economy. And I've been searching high and low to try to find out what the wealthy are doing. They know first. And I've got some clues and some people that are outright saying what they do. And we can have some things to think through. I've also got a story about Cricut Flour that's going to be in everything. How do I know? Because they're planning on creating 1.4 tons of it by 2027. And the industry's growing about 26% a year, over 26% a year. So that's a telltale sign that there's going to be a cheetah Damascus. I think that's how you say it. Look for that in your food. And I'm talking macaroni. This wasn't going to be the first story, but it might as well be. I'm talking protein bars, breads, burger patties, crackers, chips, flour, granola, alternative meats, pastas, noodle sausages, beers, milkshakes, soft drink, spirits and alcohol. I don't even know how that works. Protein-enriched fortified drinks, candies, lollies, chop, blah, blah, blah. Everything, okay? They're going to be putting Cricut Flour in everything. And a lot of people are saying, well, it's okay. It's just crickets. It's good for you. Well, maybe not. I'm not going to go too far down this rabbit hole because that is the chosen food of the WEF to feed the peasants. So I've already had too many strikes and I can't have any more. So do your own research. Check it out. There's something that happens when you grind up bugs and it winds up being bad, okay? Now, let's move on. The important thing was 1.4 million tons of Cricut powder, all right? And, oh yeah, there's one more thing. The biggest growth to be expected is in the powder, the protein powder, and the flour. It's easily incorporated into other foods, such as pasta, beverages, protein bars, making insects invisible to the consumer. And they say this can overcome the hesitancy of Western societies to eat insects. Yeah, if they don't know about it. I did a search. I tried to figure out what brands were doing it, and it's almost impossible to find anything. They don't want you to know. They just want you to eat the bugs. Eat the bugs. Next. All right, this is really doomy, guys. Bloomberg, let me just read you the article, the headline. Bloomberg Economics ran 1 million simulations to assess the fragility of the U.S. debt outlook. 88% of 1 million simulations is 880,000 simulations. That showed an unsustainable debt path. Wow, that's really impressive. 88% chance that it's an unsustainable debt path. Interest payments exceeding $1 trillion per year. The United States exceeds $1 trillion a year just in interest. 2.75 billion a day spent on interest alone. Wow. The debt to GDP ratio is projected to hit 123%, and it's known that once it hits 125% of GDP, there's no coming back. Sustainability is gone. Do you think it's going to slow down? Do you think, I'm not saying we'll have a downturn. Looks like we're fixing to have a good one. But everything that's going on with the wars we're funding and, you know, hey, you need a new bridge, we'll just build it real quick. Out of what? Well, we'll print the money. It's okay. We got a money printer, we can do it. That's going to end one day. One day, well, it probably won't ever end, but it will get really bad for them and really good for people that are holding the right things. And then we'll probably have to get back into their weirdo socialist currency. It's usually what happens. But anyway, Ray Dalio has talked about this for a long time. He does a lot of work on cycles. And he says there's 4 ways out of it. We can default on the debt. They can use austerity measures. That's not very popular. Raise taxes, and if they raise taxes to 100%, it still wouldn't pay it. And what's the fourth one? Print money. That's right. It's strange to go in the grocery store. I mean, does your $20 bill just not buy as much? Is that what it seems like? It's going to get a lot worse. So, let me know what you think. Stacey's a broker for Miles Franklin, but that's not what this video is about. The number's in the description, and I'll call it out at the end of the video. Now, Hugh Henry, little guy with glasses, always hanging out on a beach somewhere. Hugh discussed his views on the matter, and he believes that the dynamic is unstable and unsustainable as well, and that a reset of the global currency should and is needed every 100 years. Well, as in the transition away from gold in 1930. So we're looking at 2030. That number sounds familiar. He talks about risk-off positions, and this made me think of my buddy. He's done real well for himself, and he's like the cream. He always rises to the top. And when he was working for some of these small gas companies, they would give him stock, and he did really well. Now he's trying to do his best to keep it, and he's getting into risk-off assets. He chose annuities, but Hugh says short the Japanese yen, and he's talking about the Japanese yen versus the US dollar pair. And he also discussed buying long-dated treasury bond options. So that's something. I've been trading options, and so far it's a lot of fun. And he was asked what would he do if he had to invest $100 million on the show with David. Can't remember his video, but he said he would put 40% in Bitcoin, and the rest would be short currency and long treasury options. I went and looked at the treasuries, and every time we have a big scare, they bolt out of sight. And it makes perfect sense to do that. Bitcoin, you know, that stuff's crazy. It's hard to trade it. It's just it's definitely, I still think it's a speculation because it hasn't lived through a war, okay? It hasn't lived through a depression. It's, you know, not very old. And when you have people that tout it, like Max Kaiser, over and over, jumping up and down, saying crazy stuff about Bitcoin. Well, I imagine about any of us would be doing that if we owned a lot of it. Like if you were able to buy it for $1. How much did he buy for $1? Just ask yourself that. And that goes for all the other crypto people that have massive amounts of crypto and that they bought for 10 cents or a penny. And now it's up to, you know, $4,000, $65,000 if you had a Bitcoin. So yeah, they're going to be pumping this stuff for a long, long time. And there's been some recent leaks about how it might not be what they say it is. But that's for a different video. So that's what Hugh would do. Thought that was interesting. Now, I think that's all my notes. So guys, oh yeah, one more thing. I looked at the silver chart today, all day. I made a video yesterday that said it was going to go up, and it did. But it stayed still. It made another indecision candle right next to another indecision candle that was a little bit bigger. So it's a strange, or the wicks were bigger. It's strange when it does that because that usually means there's fixing to be a massive move in one direction or the other. So I'm looking for silver to do a major wick down in the future if it's going to be a move up, and it will be a major wick up if it's going to be a move down. It's usually how that works. Right before a major move, they try to run out people's stops, and that's kind of what I'm watching for. I'm going to try to make a video about it when it does happen. So, guys, have an awesome awesome day. Later.